भूखों को खाना खिलाना हर मजहब में बहुत बड़ा अमल है। इंसानियत के नाते भी इसे बहुत बड़ा अमल समझा जाता है। मौलिक वबा की वजह से नाफिज करदा लॉकडाउन में मुल्क में कई एक तंजीम, इनफरादी तौर पर और सियासी शख्सियात ने भी भूखों को खाना खिलाना, बेरोजगार लोगों में राशन किट्स तकसीम करना और बेघर अफराद में भी खाने के पैकेट्स तकसीम करने में बढ़ चढ़कर हिस्सा लेते रहे। मौलिक वबा की वजह से लॉकडाउन के बाद मुल्क में लाखों की तादाद में मुहाजिर मजदूर मुतासिर हुए हैं। लाखों मुहाजिर मजदूर दूसरी रियासतों से अपने आबाई मुकाम जाने के लिए मजबूर होकर हजारों मील पैदल ही सफर करने निकले। ना ही इनके पास खाने को खाना था और ना ही इनके पास पैसे थे। सिर्फ इनके पास हौसला था जो इनके अज़्म को पूरा कर रहा था कि मरे भी तो अपने गांव जाकर मरेंगे। हजारों मील पैदल सफर करने के मौके पर इन मुहाजिर मजदूरों को पीने का पानी भी मैसर नहीं था। लॉकडाउन के दौरान एक समाजी जहदकार और पेशे से जर्नलिस्ट सी वनुजा ने 20 लाख मुहाजिर मजदूरों को खाना खिलाने का इंतजाम किया है। जी हाँ, मोहतरमा सी वनुजा से सियासत.com के नुमाइंदे मोहतरमा निहाद अमनी ने खुसूसी बातचीत की, जिसमें उन्होंने बताया कि एक दिन वो हैदराबाद से मेरचल की जानिब जा रही थी। देखा कि सड़क पर हजारों मुहाजिर मजदूर पैदल सफर करते हुए अपने आबाई मुकाम जा रहे हैं। इनके पास खाने को खाना नहीं था। इनके इस दर्द भरे सफर को देखकर मोहतरमा सी वनुजा ने दूसरे दिन से रोजाना मेरचल सड़क पर 3000 बन, बिस्किट्स, पानी के बॉटल्स वगैरह तकसीम करना शुरू कर दिया। इनके इस इक़दाम को देखते हुए इनके हमरा कई लोग जुड़ते गए और पका हुआ खाना, बंस, बिस्किट्स, चाय वगैरह तकसीम करना शुरू कर दिया और रोजाना 15 से 20 हजार मुहाजिर मजदूरों का पेट भरा जा रहा था। मेरचल की सड़क पर टेंट लगाकर मुख्तलिफ किस्म के खाने, चाय, बिस्किट्स, पानी के बॉटल्स वॉलंटियर्स के जरिए तकसीम किए जा रहे थे। 80 वॉलंटियर्स रोजाना मोहतरमा मैडम के हमरा इस नेक काम को अंजाम दे रहे थे। इस नेक काम की हर गोशे से सताइश की जा रही है। मोहतरमा वनुजा की जानिब से कई मुहाजिर मजदूरों को अपने आबाई मुकाम जाने के लिए बसों का भी इंतजाम किया गया था और कई लोग जिनके हमरा छोटे मासूम बच्चे थे, इन्हें बस के जरिए रवाना किया गया। चलिए नाज़रीन, मजीद मालूमात मोहतरमा की ज़बानी जानते हैं।
Hello everyone, today we are here to meet C. Vanaja, the lady who served more than 2 lakh people in just 2 weeks at the Meerchal Road, who were all the migrant workers going to their native places on their feet. So here is the ma'am. She is a journalist, an independent journalist working for politics, and is making a film. Hello ma'am.
Hello.
Ma'am, may I know your good name and your qualification and what do you do, ma'am?
Okay, I'm Vanaja, known as C. Vanaja. I'm an independent journalist and a documentary filmmaker too.
And ma'am, may I know what did you do and how did you do it?
At Meerchal?
Yes ma'am.
Okay, I think there's a little backstory to it. As a lot of people thought, Meerchal hasn't started on its own. It's a culmination of something else. It's a process. So as the lockdown started in India, we all saw one big problem. I think that was the only problem we all talked about the entire lockdown period, which is a migrants issue. So lakhs of migrants have come on the roads and they were trying to go home. They were locked in shelters and they were trying to feed. A lot of chaos. In that time, so many people, thousands of people in India have come out to help them. I'm one of them. I'm not alone. Okay, I'm one of them. So me and some of my friends, most of them are with the NGOs and most of them are not with NGOs. They are like individuals like me without any organization. We all formed a group in Hyderabad and started giving rations to all the migrant families here. Those who are stuck here, not the ones who are leaving, those who are stuck here, who are struggling for life. So we all started giving rations. That went up to all the lockdown 1, lockdown 2 and lockdown 3. And when lockdown 3 is going on, one of the groups we served, I served, the first group I served, they wanted to leave for their native place in Chhattisgarh. They have a 1-week baby with them.
Okay.
So how they are going, they were walking towards Meerchal. From there they are trying to get a truck and go.
Okay.
That's how they are planning. I said this 1-week baby and there are other kids who are 2 years, 3 years also. There are 7 kids. I said I will drive them to Meerchal. So I drove this 1 week baby,
And the
her
family.
mother, family, and other kids in my car. So while going, I think from Secunderabad beginning, I started seeing thousands of people walking on the roads. Till then, I was only working in this part of Hyderabad.
That is the central Hyderabad.
Central Hyderabad. So I haven't gone that side. I was like, what is this? So many people are walking with kids and all the luggage on their heads, and it's like that. For the next 30 kilometers, that's what I saw. Then I was told they were not just talking from Secunderabad. They were walking from Secunderabad. They were walking from Shamshabad, Gachibowli. That means they were already walking 20-25 kilometers and another 35 kilometers, which is they were walking 50 kilometers minimum just to reach a
Major.
point where they can at least get a truck.
Okay.
Those who has money. Those who do not have money, they have to walk further. So then I saw, oh my God, what are we doing? We were just trying to feed people who stayed back. But what about these people? Then immediately what I alerted our ration group. I told them, see, we are all giving rations to the people here, but there are a lot of people walking. They do not have water or food on the way. Number one, all the food giants are closed. They cannot buy, even if they have money. And very interestingly, not a single water point also in the throughout 30 kilometer stretch. That is heartening.
Okay.
Not a single water point. Normally, in lot of areas in Telangana, in Hyderabad, in summers, people keep those water points, right? In
True.
summers, I don't know, no water point. I think because of social distance, whatever, it was not allowed, I guess. So not a single water point also. Then we all started going there with dry food. Because
From when are you going there, ma'am?
this happened on May 8th. See, till May 8th we were giving rations, like,
In the city.
in the city. And there are some of my friends like Khalida, Parveen and all, they were giving cooked food also. They were
True.
cooking, at home for 500 people, 1000 people and giving food also.
Yes, ma'am.
But mostly I am involved with the dry ration.
Okay.
So this happened on May 8th. So May 9th, from some four or five of us from our group, we all went there with water, biscuits, bread and fruits.
How long was it for you to reach there, ma'am?
In those times 45 minutes. Now it's going to be 1.5 hours.
Okay.
So it's roads were for us then. There was nobody on the road. They were walking and we were driving. That is how it is. So 45 minutes. So we started going with food. And it's like our cars used to how much a car can carry, 1000 buns maximum, water and biscuits. But how much ever we take there, within half an hour, 20 minutes, that gets over. Because people are hungry, people are thirsty. I will tell you one incident. It's like I will never forget that. One day I went there and we were distributing water, and one boy came and he took 2 water sachets. I said, there are a lot of people, why don't you take one? He said, for the last 50 kilometers I didn't find water.
Okay.
Then it's like,
Yeah.
I'm completely broke when they're not finding water to drink. Why didn't you find any place to buy? He said, there I saw only one place which is selling 25-30 rupees a bottle, which I can't afford. I was looking for a sachet, 1 rupee sachet,
Okay.
which I didn't find. That is the moment. Then I thought, oh my God, whatever we are bringing is not at all enough. So we need to do something.
Per day, how many times would you go to Mersal now?
2 to 3 times.
Every day you used to.
Depending on buns available. See, I asked a baker. I asked him to open the bakery for myself. He was continuously baking.
Okay.
Entire day he was baking. There is a neighbor here who is his name is Faisal. He used to bring bread and dump here. I take and go. He used to bring. This is how it happened.
Okay. Per day, how many people did you serve, ma'am?
In the beginning, I was at the most I took 3,000 buns, which is 3,000 people,
Okay.
right? Not just bun, biscuit, water, and fruit.
And how
This is-
did they feel when you gave them food?
They felt good because
They felt good.
they felt good. More than food, they felt good for water.
Okay, so they were starving for water also.
Water also. Starving for water is something. Then, we thought, okay, we should do something, bigger than this. This, all of us taking some buns is not enough. Then we thought, we approached the district administration, asking them, we want to serve food to these people who are walking from this point. So can you put us a tent? So they put a tent. One tent one first day. By evening, when they saw the crowd, they put the second tent also by evening. And and what we did is, there are other people also who are serving on the highway, not just we.
Okay.
There are people. They're coming voluntarily. They saw people, some 5-6 people. So we met them. We asked them, let us put food here at the tent.
At one place.
So that they can. So everyone is happy
Agreed.
to do that. Because everyone is facing the same problem. Bringing in the car, getting over in 30 minutes, and
Then-
again running backward this way, that way. If there is a place, we can bring in a truck and put it there. No.
True, ma'am.
So that's how we can do. So they started bringing the food, and what we did is, I started posting in social media asking for food and volunteers, and it catch up in 2 days. Nothing like it. In 2 days, the tent was put up on 11th evening and 12th. By 14th, we were serving 20,000 people a day,
Okay.
and you don't believe, the entire food is voluntary food, without kitchen. Without kitchen, we are not cooking the food. Actually, the food is coming. That is one of the most beautiful social experiments I have seen in my life. It's not just any food.
It is home cooked food.
It is home cooked food and variety of food. If you see, 3 to 4 varieties of rice, 3 to 4 varieties of juices, and 3 to 4 varieties of fruits, and it's like everything on table. We used to spread 4-5 tables, and the food is spread. Whatever is finished, people will come and fill.
Okay.
If the rice is over, rice will come. If fruit is over, fruit will come. Bread is over, bread will come. Biscuits are over, biscuits will come. Juices are over. This is like food festival. Somebody commented also. It's not like some charity food. This is like a food festival, and none of us thought it is a charity. The most beautiful thing in Maychal Food Camp is, none of the people who brought food there didn't think it's charity. They all felt it is their responsibility to share. I think that made it most beautiful. People were like, they were opening their hearts there. They're talking to people. If some women needs to eat with a child, we would carry the child so that women can eat.
Didn't you fear that you would have got affected from coronavirus?
Yeah, that's what everyone said, but we never felt that way.
That fear, because we see that a number of migrant people are now affected by coronavirus.
Yeah, but that time, no. It's not long ago. But actually what I saw is, as a journalist and as a COVID worker going around, in Hyderabad, till now, it didn't go into third stage.
True.
So all these workers are in the third stage area. It didn't reach them.
Not.
It is still in the middle class, right?
Yes.
So it's still there. So it didn't reach them. Yeah, that's what is this thing. But I think there is no virus in any of the people left here, because we met almost 2.5 lakh people in those 2 weeks. None of us were affected.
And
Almost there are, by the end of the thing, we were around 70-80 volunteers there every day, but none of us were affected. None.
And when you ask them that why did these migrant workers wanted to go back despite of giving them shelter homes in Telangana?
Shelter homes is not even 1%. No, forget about that. What is shelter homes? Shelter homes are, when people are running away, they brought them and put in the shelter homes, and most of the shelter homes, by end of the week, they got emptied. They jumped the walls
just
and
ran away.
they ran away. You know what? People are not here for just food. Food is something they can eat anywhere, right?
Yeah.
They can go back home and eat also. They were here for living, better living, which is not happening. And two, nobody is caring for them. Despite all the big talk by the central government and state government, they haven't done much. They neglected them. And very interestingly, they were saying it's not my responsibility. Every state is saying, the home state is saying that we cannot reach out them. The guest host state is saying that it's not our responsibility. So okay, it's like it's nobody's responsibility.
And the central government says it's the state government's responsibility.
So it's like, you know, shifting the blame or shifting the responsibility, but nobody took the responsibility. No state, I think, except Kerala, no other state took the responsibility. Like, you know, yeah. So that is one thing, and the work is not happening, and whatever little money they have is getting over. So mostly Hyderabad is a red zone. There is a virus.
True.
And if they get virus, if something happens, their body won't go there. That's what a lot of people told me. You know,
They want to die in their own village,
Exactly.
in their own region.
And actually, you know what? They won't die there because there is no virus there.
True.
If they had stayed here, you know, they might have caught up with that, and you know, whatever would have happened. Yeah. So people really believed that they are sharing, and people took the responsibility. So while the biggest governments are not taking the responsibility, the industries which are using them, you know, making profits all the while, the construction companies, they abandoned them. But people tried to own it. That is the beauty of this. And as I told you, there are almost 100 volunteers who are coming with food there.
Great.
And one of the greatest thing happened is that's Jakat time.
Okay.
And is it called Jakat?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we got lot of Jakat food there, like juices and what not actually.
Especially during the Ramadan.
That is Ramadan
Ramzan
time,
time.
no? So that is Jakat.
Hmm.
So lot of Jakat food also has come there, you know, like we have friends like Mujahid and Shahid Ali Khan and Mahanur. These are all people. They brought so much food, and that is one place. While the India is fighting between, you know, communal this thing, that is one place where we were all together and serving. And it's youngsters, it's older, it's traditional people, it's, you know, liberal people. Everyone is there, you know, irrespective of their political views. Everyone had come there. And very interesting part is even political parties in that area, they also did not try to, you know, interfere.
Okay.
Even when they came, they didn't bring their banners, jandas or kandavas.
Okay.
They just came like normal people and went. That
Did people of Medchal anytime object for what you were doing?
no, this is like this. This is before Medchal. There is a distance between Medchal and here.
The village.
Village. It's not village. It's a town. It's
Huh.
district headquarters. So there's 1 kilometer distance between these two. This is immediately after ORR. There's a huge truck parking ground.
Okay.
We put up our tents there. Yeah, I need to tell you about tents. So first we put up 2 tents, speaking to the local municipal commissioner and municipal chairperson and the MRO. Second day they came to see what is it going on, because that comes under. They saw lot of people coming and feeding. Next day they put up 2 more tents. Next day another 2 tents. They were coming like additional collector comes and asks us, what do you need? We said we want water points. So water points will come. Again he comes, what do you need? We want toilets. So mobile toilets will come. So it's like a big infrastructure. By the end of a week, we have 10 huge tents, 6 water tankers serving, and water, you know, washing places, toilets. It's like a huge infrastructure there. And government has supported with infrastructure, but they didn't interfere with food. Food is from people, completely from people. But after a week, I think almost after a week, you know, because we were getting sometimes some dry times when we wanted food, there is some scarcity. Then we started a community kitchen.
Okay.
So that is sending food every 3 hours interval.
Okay.
So if we saw more food on the table, we will ask them to stop. But otherwise, that will come. So that way, we made sure there is a food from morning 6:30 to night 10:30 every day.
Okay.
It's not one meal. It's breakfast, lunch, evening, dinner. So it's like continuous.
Anytime they come, they'll get food.
They'll get food and water. Not only they get food to eat, they get food to carry. That is another beautiful thing that happened. It's not just the food to feed
Okay.
them there. We were giving food for them to road.
Okay.
So if it's 24 hours for them, we give food for 24 hours, like dry food. We give them rice, we give them rotis, we give them bread and biscuits, water and, you know,
Juices.
all this, so that they carry the whole thing. Every person used to get this big
Back to home.
bag to carry, so that they can keep eating till they go home. If we were giving food for 3 days also, like places like UP, it's like it takes 36 hours, sometimes more, you know. Thing is, they don't really have anything at back home, because we've been talking to them. We tracked most of them to their home. We just did not work. I need to tell you that we just did not feed them. We also worked from them for their safe travel. We started coordinating with people and sent people by buses from there. So lots and lots of people have come there and put buses. We sent them home by bus instead of trucks. In the beginning, they were only going by trucks. Even even after we set up our camp there, we brought down those prices also. You know, we were bargaining with truck drivers, and you know, you cannot charge this much.
Okay.
It's like that way. And then we started providing buses. Lots of people, not just food camp people, other people also came. Lot of people came forward to sponsor buses. It's like 1 lakh to 1.5 lakh. Lot of people came forward, and from that food point, almost 100 buses have gone by different people.
Okay.
Yeah, they mobilized funds and they put those buses. Different people did that, you know.
Migrant workers will come back, ma'am?
I don't think they will come back this year. Because we spoke to many migrant workers even when they were here in lockdown, and even when they were leaving. One, it's like mostly psychological thing. It's more than financial thing. It's psychological thing. As I told you, they want to be with their family. It's even we are also scared of something. We want to be with family.
And why? What, how do you feel after doing all this you've done?
I don't know. I'm not feeling anything. Like, it's like, that's what people are saying. Oh, that's a big thing. But we never felt that's a big thing. That's something we need to do, and that's it. Yeah.
So we have just spoken to C. Vanaja ma'am, who is the lady who initiated the food for these migrant workers and made sure that these people would reach their native places safely with their stomachs full. She not only had served them food at that point, but made sure that they carried some food down to their town places. So this lady would be impressed with these many migrant people. Hope that they come back very soon. As ma'am said, it is going to take them 1 year to reach back. Let's see what the government does. It's not just about community, as what she says. It's all about hearts. It's all about no religion. It's all about serving each other and taking things as responsibility and not as efforts or charity. Thank you so much. Neha Damani from Siyasat.com.